Hi, welcome to this quick start of the Profiler Training Certification course. In this quick start, we're going to talk about the mindset of being a profiler. What does it mean to have a profiling mindset?
There is a core belief that is imperative when you are doing profiling. And this actually goes along with what we talked about in the quick start about ethics, profiling ethics. The core belief will help you get to a point of never utilizing the tool for evil. We talked about using it for good and not for evil. And that belief is this: everything that everyone does makes sense to them. Okay? Everything that everyone does makes sense to them, at least at the time that they did it. Now, that might be super simple, right? That might be super obvious. Well, yeah, obviously everything that everyone does makes sense to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. And yet, in day-to-day life, we do not behave as if this is a normal, accepted concept.
Get on the 101 freeway in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Start driving down the 101, and you'll start getting angry, like, why can't these people think correctly and drive correctly? It's so maddening. This doesn't make any sense what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're acting erratically on the freeway. Why is this?
Usually when somebody does something, Joel mentioned actually in a previous quick start that we have a tendency to overvalue our own experience. And so because we overvalue our own experience, that means that we bring our sense of what makes sense to the outside world. And when somebody does something that doesn't make sense to us, and we don't think, well, it's got to make sense to them, we assume that they're being either obnoxious, deliberately obtuse, stupid. I mean, we've got all sorts of colorful words to describe. Yeah, unaware, dense. We've got all sorts of colorful words to describe people who are doing things that don't make any sense to us. It is important. In fact, it's profoundly necessary for you to get into the mindset that everything that everyone does makes sense to them. All right. And you have to start from that premise. When you do that, you remove the component of overvaluing your own experience. Because when you overvalue your own experience, you're going to bring your wiring to a profiling session. You're going to bring why that thing makes sense to you based on your wiring and your type. You're going to bring that into the interaction. And so you're going to look for things. And if somebody is not interacting with you in the way that you think they should be, you're going to get frustrated with them and you're not going to be able to find their type. This perspective does a couple things for us. So number one, it makes us better profilers, just hands down. The second thing is it doesn't allow us the cop-out of concluding that people are all of those colorful words we just mentioned, right? You can't cop out. You can't just go, that person's an idiot, they don't need to be profiled, right? Like you have to get to that space. And the mindset is really about leaving your own wiring, leaving your own headspace, and temporarily trying at least. Now, not all of us have a natural, some of us have a great talent for this. There are certain personality types that do this automatically all the time anyway. And as we're talking, the person's going to be like, yeah, I mean, what else are you supposed to do? And there's a lot of us that are not naturally gifted at this. I know that I'm not. One of the reasons why I got into profiling to begin with is because I was not naturally gifted at just getting into somebody else's mind space. And I wanted to know what were some of the behaviors that caused people to do the things that they did, or what were some of the mental processes they were using, because I couldn't get it. Like, it didn't make sense to me. So this system allows you to temporarily leave what makes sense to you, the thing that's meaningful to you, the world, the perspective that is your everything, and occupy somebody else's everything for a little while. Really try to get inside that other person's head.
Yeah, one of the best ways to do this is a quick little exercise to do. Anytime you're in a frustrating situation, maybe you're at a customer service desk and a person's being, in your mind, obtuse. They're making decisions that you're just, man, it seems like they're just being difficult to me, and I'm taking it personal, and I just know that they're being difficult just because they want to be difficult. If you could just maybe stop for a moment, especially in frustrating situations, and list in your mind really quickly 3 reasons they might be behaving this way, just as a quick, hey, they might be thinking this. Maybe they just had a death in the family. Maybe they just had to start opening yourself up to possibilities of their perspective to see why they might be behaving this way. And like Antonia said, this is going to make you a better profiler. If you start to do this exercise, especially at the times when you're on the freeway or at the customer service counter or you're paying your taxes and that person's not giving you the information you need that's on the phone with you, anytime you're in a difficult situation, use this technique to try to perspective and get a sense of what they're actually going through on their end. I think that'll help you be a better profiler ultimately.
And a better human.
Yeah, of course.
Right? It'll make you a better person in general.
We're talking about profiler training.
But it will also make you a better profiler.
And a better person.
You'll know you've got it, all right? When you do the exercise that Joel just mentioned, you'll know you've got it when the result is involuntary compassion. All right, involuntary compassion. What I mean by that, involuntary compassion, is that you can't help but feel compassion. It's just coming up for you. When you can get to that point of involuntary compassion, you know that you've truly occupied somebody else's perspective because that person feels compassion for themselves, just like we feel compassion for ourselves. So again, when you go into profiling, the most important core belief in the mindset of profiling is that everything everyone does makes sense to them. So it's your job to figure that out. It's your job to figure out how their wiring is making their behavior, their actions, their values, their perspectives, how their wiring is making all of that make sense. And when you've got that component, you're going to become a master profiler.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the quick start sessions, all the different framing, all the different things to think about as we go through the actual certification course. So it is now time to launch right into the Profiler Training Certification course. Buckle your seatbelts. Here we go.